So we were watching a clip of Laura Trump and Charlemagne, and they were talking about inflation. And Charlemagne was saying that inflation was down to 2.5%. Yet our prices are so high for absolutely everything. How does that equate? I feel like there's a discrepancy there, something it's not clear in the numbers of how they explain it to us.
I constantly am approached by people who say, I cannot afford not to vote for Donald Trump.
There's a lot of people that say that,
Hold on real quick. I do want to just note that inflation is down, though.
It's coming down.
It's like the 2.5%.
It's coming
just
down,
that the
but
prices
it's not
are still
down.
So elevated.
But wage growth has not kept up with the rise in inflation, and it's causing people to really hurt around this country. They really can't make their basic ends meet right now.
I mean, inflations are down, but the prices are up. I mean, whose fault is that? That's more so the corporations than it is government.
Prices are, say that again?
Inflation is down, but the prices are up.
Inflation is not down nearly enough. You can bring
2.5%.
You can.
So Charlemagne said that inflation is now 2.5%. What does he mean by that?
Okay, well, I don't know what he means by it, but I can tell you what he's repeating. He's repeating that the inflation rate is 2.5%. It's an annualized number, which means that this year the prices are 2.5% higher than they were the year before. Well, we'll put up this graph here in a minute, but last year the inflation rate was like 8%, or the year before. So if the inflation rate is now 2.5%, it's not like prices have come down from that 8%. They've gone up an additional 2.5%.
So it's cumulative.
It's cumulative.
That's the detail that they're leaving out.
That is the detail.
We need to add 1 year upon another year. It's not a flat inflation of 2.5%.
No, it is added on to the year before. So in other words, prices are still higher.
Details.
Yeah, little details. Prices are still higher. They didn't increase as much as they did the previous year. They're using this number as if prices have come down, and that would be what we call deflation. Deflation is when you have a negative inflation rate. You typically don't want to see deflation for extended periods of time because it does create a recession. I mean, if everything is cheaper, the longer you wait to buy it, who would buy anything? But in a case where you have, according to this graph, in 2021, you had an inflation rate of 4.7%, plus 8% in 2022, plus 3%, 3.5%. Yeah, in 2023. Plus, I think we're averaging about 3.2%. What are we?
Okay, so since Harris Biden took office, inflation has gone up 19.4% according to the numbers.
Correct. In order for the prices to come down, the inflation rate would need to be a negative number. If you look at Trump's numbers, 2.1%, 2.4%, 1.8%, 1.2%, I mean, those are perfect numbers. You need inflation because you want people not to wait to buy. If something's going to be a little bit more expensive next month or next year, you might want to buy it this year.
So that's 7.5 over the course of his presidency.
Correct. Versus it's almost 3 times.
Right.
And we haven't even.
So we went from 7.5 over 4 years to
about 20.
About 20%.
It's also important to note that inflation is particular to specific goods and what we call baskets of goods. So, for example, this is an average. Now you could have, and I think it's true, food prices have probably gone way above this average. Other goods, like maybe durable goods or automobiles, maybe they increased at a slower rate than other things, but on average, these are the numbers. And so if anybody tells you, hey, Biden's doing great, the inflation rate's only 2.5%, you gotta remember that's 2.5% on top of all the other increases that we've seen. They haven't wiped out those yet. So hopefully that explains it.